Do not take our kindness for granted. That is the sentiment by the leadership of the AFC M23 after reports came out yesterday that the FARDC and the Wazalendos had fought the M23 in the strategic town of Walikale, and they managed to retake the town of Walikale from the M23. Well, I'm going to tell you about what the spokesperson of the AFC M23 said in regards to that particular situation, as well as fighting is still continuing in Masisi. There are reports that heavy fighting is still continuing in Masisi. The FARDC and the Wazalendos are still waging a war against the M23. That is also part of the story that I'm going to tell you in this video. Also, the Kinshasa government has seen its efforts to increase the salary of the FARDC troops so that it can motivate them to fight harder against the insurgencies in Eastern DRC. And lastly, the minerals for security deal by the Kinshasa government to the United States seems to have been accepted by the US government, and it is in the final stages of the ascension of that deal where the Kinshasa government is giving away its minerals to the United States so that it can guarantee the Kinshasa government of security in Eastern DRC. Well, this is Bonafide. If you haven't subscribed, kindly subscribe and hit that notification button so that when I release something new on the DRC crisis, you get notified as soon as possible. Well, in the past 24 hours, there have been news and reports coming out of the strategic city of Walikale that the M23 had been defeated in Walikale and that the FARDC had gone into Walikale together with the Wazalendos and had retaken the strategic town of Walikale. And they sent photos of these FARDC members like this one in Walikale, pointing to the direction that they now are in control of Walikale and that they have fought the M23 in that strategic town. Well, the M23 also responded to this aggression, and through their spokesperson, they say that the Congo River Alliance, or the AFC M23, informs the Congolese people that, contrary to what is circulating on social media, we have implemented our decision to reposition our forces in Walikale and its surrounding areas in accordance to our press release. This press release here that denoted that the AFC M23 had gone out of Walikale and had repositioned its forces out of Walikale because they wanted to show a gesture of goodwill before the talks between the Kinshasa government and the M23. Well, the statement by the spokesperson of the M23, Lawrence Kanyuka, went on to say that if the Kinshasa regime forces continue their provocation or attacks against civilians in the liberated areas as well as against our positions, this gesture of goodwill will automatically be rescinded and will eliminate the threat at its source. Well, that is the message that has been given by Lawrence Kanyuka, telling the Kinshasa government, the Kinshasa regime, and the troops therein that are in Walikale that they should not provoke the M23, that should they provoke or continue to provoke the M23, all those gains that have been made, even the M23 agreeing to have a meeting with the Kinshasa regime in Qatar that we are expecting on 9th of April 2025, all those gains can be rescinded and that the M23 will go back to the battleground with the FARDC and continue to fight to retake more territories. Remember, this is the period where the AFC M23 have really taken a lot of ground in Eastern DRC in a very, very fast pace. And they are saying that we are just out of Walikale. We went out of Walikale. We were not fighting with the FARDC. They are just posting these photos, yet we were not in the town. But should they continue to provoke us, should they continue to make fun of the AFC M23, then we're going to get back to the battleground and we're going to fight with the FARDC and the Wazalendos, and we're going to fight them at their source. Well, even as that was released by the AFC M23, there are still reports that fighting is still continuing at Masisi Center, that the FARDC, together with the Wazalendos, are still waging a war against the M23 at Masisi Center. And this here is a video of just what is happening at Masisi Center currently. And well, it should be noted that this heavy fighting is continuing even in the time that the AFC M23 and the Kinshasa government have written in public that they are under a ceasefire, that they are not fighting. But you can see that there is heavy shelling on different fronts by the FARDC against the M23, Wazalendos, and other militia that are supporting the M23, and those that are opposing. They are still fighting against each other on different fronts in eastern DRC. And the Kinshasa government, through President Felix Tshisekedi, have been assessing this situation and have come out with different methods on how to solve the situation in eastern DRC. One way of a short-term win by the Kinshasa government has been to increase the pay of the troops, the FARDC troops, that seem to be not motivated to fight for the Kinshasa government. We've seen FARDC troops in different fronts being recruited by the M23, and they have been now fighting against their comrades, the FARDC comrades who they have been fighting with, but now they have been recruited by the M23 easily, and they are now fighting for the M23. Now, the Kinshasa government saw that, and they thought that the solution to this is to increase the pay of the troops so that they can be motivated to continue to fight for the Kinshasa government. And that has since been done by the Kinshasa government. More troops have received higher salaries to continue to fight for the DRC government in eastern DRC, and that has made the entire conflict complex. And the second way that President Felix Tshisekedi has seen that will be probable to solve the issues in eastern DRC once and for all for a very long time was to have a handshake or an agreement with a superpower like the United States, and they have quoted the United States. They have given a proposal to the United States that you can take our minerals and you guarantee us that there will be safety and security in eastern DRC. So that is the proposal that was given by Felix Tshisekedi last month, and it seems as if the US is receptive to this kind of a deal. You know who is at the head of the US government right now. He's a person who likes deals, and President Tshisekedi knew exactly that and proposed a mineral deal to the Trump government, and the Trump government has since been very, very receptive to this deal for them to get minerals and to guarantee the eastern DRC that they will not have any security problems in the future. Just a day ago, a top US diplomat went to meet with President Tshisekedi, and he said that you have heard about the minerals agreement. We have reviewed the DRC's proposal, and I'm pleased to announce that the President and I have agreed on a path forward for its development. I look forward to working with Felix Tshisekedi and his team to build a deeper relationship that benefits the Congolese and American people, to stimulate American private sector investment in the DRC, particularly in the mining sector, with the shared goal of contributing to the prosperity of both countries. That is Masad Boulos, the US Special Envoy for Africa, and that is a statement that he is releasing that is in conjunction to the assent of the President of the United States, that indeed they are going to have their companies, they're going to invest in Eastern DRC where the minerals are, and the US is guaranteeing the DRC that there will be peace and security and territorial, that is the word they use, territorial respect for Eastern DRC. It means that soon enough, perhaps, the US is going to also be entangled in the Eastern DRC conflict, in what is now seeming to be a regional conflict between countries and players who are state and non-state in Eastern DRC, as well as the neighboring countries. As always, I will continue to keep you updated and give you more details of that particular agreement that has now gotten the assent of the President of the United States. Keep it bona fide.